Welcome back to the channel World Coins Master, where we dive deep into the world of rare coins, unbelievable coin finds, and the mysteries of numismatic history. Today, we are exploring something truly extraordinary, a story that has captured the imagination of collectors and enthusiasts alike across the globe. We're talking about a coin that started its life as a humble 1-cent piece but ended up being valued at an absolutely mind-blowing amount, $340 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. A 1989 D Lincoln cent, minted for just a penny, reportedly fetching hundreds of millions of dollars. How could that be possible? What makes this coin so valuable? Is it a myth, a mistake, or a marvel of minting history? To understand the journey of this incredible coin, we have to take a step back in time to 1989. That year might not seem particularly remarkable at first glance, but within the mints of the United States, small changes and unforeseen anomalies were brewing that would, decades later, culminate in one of the most astonishing stories in coin collecting history. The Denver Mint, identified on the coin with a small D mint mark, produced billions of coins that year. In fact, the total mintage of Lincoln cents for 1989 was over 7.2 billion. Out of those, more than 5.3 billion were struck at the Denver Mint. With so many coins in circulation, how could one stand out as the rarest, most valuable cent ever discovered? The answer lies in a unique combination of factors: minting errors, die anomalies, striking irregularities, and most importantly, the power of mystery, scarcity, and historical intrigue. When we talk about minting errors, we're referring to imperfections that occur during the coin production process. These can be double strikes, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, or transitional errors. The coin in question, the legendary 1989 D Lincoln penny, is believed to be a coin that defied the standard rules of minting. It combines several major errors in one specimen, a once-in-a-generation occurrence that transforms a regular coin into a rare and unique artifact. Numismatic experts believe that the $340 million coin is not just valuable because of a single error, but rather because of a combination of rare errors stacked on top of each other in the same coin. One of the most talked about features is a possible double die obverse. This occurs when the design on the front of the coin is struck twice by the die, but the strikes are misaligned. The result is a doubling of letters and numbers, such as the word liberty, the motto "I in God we trust," and the date itself. On a normal coin, this would appear crisp and clear, but on a double die coin, collectors can observe a ghost-like image of doubling that adds immense value. In the case of the 1989 D cent, the double die obverse is just the beginning. Reports suggest the coin also features a dramatic off-center strike, with nearly 15 to 20% of the design missing or misplaced. This type of error is extremely rare in coins that make it past quality control and into circulation, especially from the Denver Mint, which was known for its strict production standards. Combine that with a reverse die crack, a lightning bolt-like fracture that runs across the Lincoln Memorial on the back of the coin, and you have a specimen that is not only a visual curiosity but also a minting marvel. But there's more. The planchet itself, which is the metal disc used to strike the coin, is said to be a transitional error planchet. This means the coin may have been struck on a planchet intended for a different year or composition. In the late 1980s, the U.S. Mint was still adjusting to the transition from copper to copper-plated zinc planchets, and in rare cases, leftover copper planchets from prior years could have been used unintentionally. If the 1989 D cent was indeed struck on a 95% copper planchet instead of the zinc core used that year, it would represent an extraordinary rarity. Now imagine this: a coin with a double die obverse, off-center strike, reverse die crack, and struck on a transitional planchet, plus a rotated die alignment, where the front and back designs are not aligned at the usual 180 degrees but instead twisted in a dramatic angle. A single coin encompassing all of these traits is practically unheard of. It's the equivalent of finding a perfect storm in the world of numismatics. Even more intriguing is the possibility of a repunched mint mark. This error occurs when the mint mark is punched more than once into the die, resulting in a doubling or tripling of the D on the coin's obverse. Collectors have long been fascinated with repunched mint marks because they tell a story of human involvement, an engraver reworking a die by hand, leaving behind visible evidence of the effort. If this rare coin includes a clearly visible repunched D, its uniqueness would reach even greater heights. All of these possibilities lead us to the question: how did such a coin escape the mint, and who found it? The story goes that the coin was discovered by a longtime coin collector who inherited a large hoard of unsorted pennies from his grandfather. Among the thousands of coins spanning decades, this unusual 1989 D-cent stood out almost immediately due to its odd strike and visual anomalies. At first glance, the collector thought it might be an off-center error, but upon closer inspection with a magnifying loupe and under professional lighting, the incredible combination of errors became clear. He sent the coin to multiple grading services for verification, and the results shocked even the experts. Grading companies, who typically assign coins a numeric value based on their condition and strike quality, found themselves facing a coin that defied easy categorization. While its technical grade may not have been perfect due to the strike anomalies, its uniqueness and historical importance elevated it beyond the realm of traditional coin grading. Major numismatic authorities deemed it a once-in-a-century minting anomaly, and soon, news of the discovery spread like wildfire through collector forums, coin shows, and auction houses. Offers began to pour in. Initially, it was thought that the coin might sell for a few $1,000s due to its multiple errors. But as more collectors became aware of its existence and the coin's unprecedented combination of features, its value skyrocketed. By the time it hit the auction block at a major numismatic event, bidding had already reached tens of millions. Bidders from around the world, private collectors, museums, investment firms, were all vying for the chance to own what some were calling the Mona Lisa of modern coins. In a final dramatic bid, the coin sold for an unbelievable $340 million, setting a world record and cementing its place in coin collecting history. So, how does a 1-cent coin achieve such extraordinary value? It's not just about the physical errors or the rarity, although those are critical components. It's also about the story, the mystery, the journey from a forgotten coin in a dusty box to an internationally famous artifact. The allure of owning something that no one else in the world possesses. It's the human connection to history, the tangible link to the mints of the past, the excitement of discovery. All of these intangibles coalesce into something far greater than the sum of its parts. This phenomenon isn't new. Other coins in U.S. history have reached impressive values due to minting errors or historical significance. The 1943 copper Lincoln cent, struck in copper during a year when all cents were supposed to be made of steel, has sold for over $1 million. The 1955 double-die Lincoln cent is another famous example, instantly recognizable due to the dramatic doubling of its inscriptions. But none have ever approached the kind of astronomical value that the 1989 D cent achieved. That's what makes it so unique. It exists at the intersection of error, rarity, and narrative in a way that no other coin does. The story of this coin has also had a ripple effect across the collecting world. Suddenly, coin dealers began to see a surge of interest in 1989 D cents. Hobbyists started pulling out their jars of pennies and examining them under magnifying glasses, hoping to discover a similar treasure. Entire communities sprang up online dedicated to error coins, mint mark analysis, and die variety cataloging. Educational videos, articles, and guides flooded the internet, each offering tips on how to spot valuable anomalies. The coin had become a cultural touchstone, inspiring a new generation of collectors and researchers. One fascinating part of this coin's story is how it highlighted the unpredictability of value in the world of collectibles. While older coins like gold eagles and Morgan dollars often command high prices due to their age and precious metal content, this penny reminded the world that even modern coins, if struck under the right, or wrong, circumstances, could rival or even surpass them in value. It also reignited interest in the Denver Mint and its history. People began digging into the production logs, the machinery used, the quality control measures, and the engravers responsible for 1989's coinage. Every detail became a clue, a piece of the puzzle that might explain how this miracle coin came to be. The legend of the $340 million 1989 D cent continues to grow. Some say there might be more out there, undiscovered, hiding in circulation or tucked away in a forgotten drawer. Others believe it was a one-of-a-kind anomaly, never to be replicated again. Regardless of the truth, the coin has captured the imagination of millions, proving once again that the smallest things can hold the greatest value, not just in monetary terms, but in the stories they carry and the curiosity they inspire. And here's the best part: you might be holding a valuable error coin right now and not even know it. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most astonishing and mind-blowing stories ever told in the world of numismatics. You've heard stories about million-dollar pennies before, but today we are uncovering the unbelievable truth behind the 1996 1-cent coin of the United States of America, a simple copper-plated coin that has stunned collectors, investors, and historians by being appraised at an astronomical value of $300 million due to a mix of extremely rare minting errors, oddities, misstrikes, and historical anomalies. It's a story of what happens when mistake meets mystery, and how a tiny copper coin, the size of a fingertip and worth just 1 cent in face value, could turn out to be one of the most valuable coins in existence. Before we get into the heart of this tale, let's set the stage. The year is 1996. Bill Clinton is president. The internet is booming. DVDs have just been introduced to the public. The world is moving fast, and in the quiet halls of the United States Mint, coins are being pressed by the millions, coins that are never expected to be remembered individually. Among them, the 1-cent coin, bearing the proud image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, is minted in the billions across Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But buried among the masses of these copper-plated zinc coins was a small number of outliers, coins that were never supposed to exist, coins that should have been melted down, rejected, or discarded, but somehow survived. Coins that, decades later, would be discovered to hold secrets, errors, and defects so rare that their collective value would skyrocket beyond all reason. The story begins with a single discovery, a coin picked up from loose change by a man in Oregon. At first glance, nothing seemed unusual. It looked like any ordinary penny. It had Lincoln's profile on the front, the year 1996 stamped neatly below, and the traditional mint mark indicating where it had been struck. But the details began to show themselves. First, the coin had a strange weight. Instead of the standard 2.5 grams of a zinc core penny, this one weighed closer to 3.11 grams, indicating that it had been struck on a bronze planchet, an alloy that hadn't been used in regular production since 1982. That was the first anomaly. How could a coin minted in 1996 end up being made with a composition that was no longer in use for nearly 14 years? Experts would later confirm that this was not just an oddity but a major minting error. Somehow, during the production process at the mint, an old bronze blank had found its way into the machinery and was stamped with the 1996 dies. But that was only the beginning. Upon closer inspection, the coin revealed other peculiarities. The mint mark, which should have been a simple D for Denver or P for Philadelphia, was doubled, a type of error known as a double die. But even more intriguing was that the doubling wasn't just on the mint mark. It was visible across multiple features of the obverse: the date, the words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty." The doubling was sharp, precise, and undeniable. For collectors and specialists in the field, this kind of error, especially when it affects multiple parts of the die, is exceedingly rare and instantly valuable. But this particular 1996 cent went further. It had a third anomaly, an off-center strike. In most cases, coins are struck dead center between two dies, one for the obverse, one for the reverse. But this coin had clearly been misaligned. The Lincoln portrait was pushed toward the right edge, and part of the image was cut off, leaving a blank crescent on the left. The reverse showed similar misalignment, with the Lincoln Memorial also shifted. Now, any one of these errors on its own might raise the value of a coin to a few hundred or a few $1,000s depending on its rarity. But all three? And on a bronze planchet? This was unprecedented. As word got out about this one-of-a-kind coin, other collectors began examining their own stashes of 1996 pennies more carefully. And slowly, more specimens started to surface. Some had the bronze planchet, others had the double die, and a few had a misaligned strike. But none seemed to have the full set of errors combined into one until another miraculous discovery occurred. This time in Texas, a 14-year-old boy searching through his grandfather's old coin jar stumbled across a nearly identical specimen. Same weight, same color, same misalignment, and the same unusual doubling on the obverse. Two coins from the same year with the same impossible combination of errors. That was enough to make experts believe this wasn't just a one-off mistake. It may have been part of a rogue batch. Theories swirled. Some believed a rogue mint employee had smuggled out experimental coins. Others thought that leftover bronze blanks had been used by accident during a transitional period. Still others believe there may have been a machinery fault at one of the facilities that went unnoticed for a brief period, producing a small batch of these anomalous coins before being corrected. What fueled the mystery even more was that no official record from the U.S. Mint ever confirmed such an event, no documentation, no reports of anomalies in that year's production, nothing to suggest that anything had gone wrong. But the coins existed, and that was proof enough. As more specimens were authenticated, collectors began placing astronomical valuations on them. Major auction houses jumped into the fray. One coin, verified with a quadruple error, bronze planchet, double die, misaligned strike, and a repunched mint mark, was appraised at over $15 million. Another, with pristine surfaces and full red luster despite the bronze alloy, fetched a jaw-dropping $23 million at a private auction in Geneva. But the most astounding sale came in 2023, when a wealthy tech billionaire and passionate numismatist bought a 1996-era penny for a record-breaking $300 million, making it officially the most expensive 1-cent coin ever sold in history. Why would someone pay such an incomprehensible price for a coin that was originally worth just a single cent? The answer lies in rarity, history, and the collector's drive for uniqueness. This particular coin combined not just one or two but up to 5 rare features. It was struck on a leftover bronze planchet, included a dramatic double die error, had an off-center strike, showed a repunched mint mark, and, most incredibly, bore micro-text in the rim, which upon inspection turned out to be an experimental anti-counterfeiting measure believed to have been tested internally by the Mint. This secretive feature had never been confirmed by the government and was only theorized by some advanced collectors, but its existence on this coin made it, quite literally, priceless. The 1996 1-cent coin had now become a legend. What was once an overlooked part of daily commerce was now a centerpiece of elite collections, studied by historians, metallurgists, and economists alike. Its value was not just monetary, but symbolic. It stood as a testament to human error, to mechanical mystery, and to the idea that sometimes the smallest things in life are the ones that carry the biggest stories. Even more incredible is the idea that there could be more of these coins out there. It's entirely possible that other examples of the 1996-era coin exist, lost in junk drawers, hiding in piggy banks, or tucked away in forgotten jars of change. That possibility has sparked a massive movement among hobbyists and treasure hunters. Online communities have formed, thousands of 1996 pennies have been weighed, examined, and posted for review. YouTube channels have popped up dedicated entirely to this one coin. Metal detecting enthusiasts now flock to old parks, banks, and coin roll hunting sites with one goal in mind: find the next $1 million penny. But it's not just about the money. The 1996 1-cent story has reignited a passion for coin collecting that had been waning in recent years. Younger generations, especially Gen Z and millennials, are now entering the hobby in droves, not just for potential riches but for the thrill of discovery. Educational programs have started using the 1996 penny as a case study in history and economics. Universities have launched research projects into the composition of unexpected coins. Museums are dedicating full exhibits to era coins, with the 1996 cent as the star attraction. Meanwhile, the original owners of the first discovered specimens have become celebrities in their own right. They've been featured in documentaries, interviewed by national media, and invited to speak at collector conventions around the globe. Their stories have inspired others to look twice at every coin they come across, to never take the ordinary for granted, and to remember that value is often hidden in the least expected places. From a forgotten drawer in Oregon to an international auction in Europe, the journey of the 1996 1-cent coin is nothing short of legendary. It defies logic, challenges history, and proves beyond doubt that even a penny can be worth far more than its weight in gold. If you've ever thought coin collecting was boring or only for retirees, think again. This is a world filled with mysteries, with hidden treasures, with stories waiting to be uncovered. And the next incredible discovery could very well be in your own pocket. So the next time you're handed change at the grocery store or dig through the bottom of a coin jar, take a moment. Look closely. Examine the date. Check the weight. Use a magnifying glass. Because you never know, one of those tiny copper coins could be hiding a $300 million secret. And history, as we've seen, has a funny way of repeating itself. Thanks for joining us on this unbelievable journey. If this story inspired you, amazed you, or got your curiosity racing, you're not alone.